Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever episode of the Program Guys podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 12th. My name is Mason Prince alongside Matt Gann, Mark Hall, Patrick Hertzberger, and Ryan Tyson. We want to thank you for listening, subscribing, following on all of our social media channels. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, not Facebook because we're not dinosaurs. Let's get started with some intros. This is our first episode, so we're going to really get into this, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be different, not like anything you've ever heard before. My name is Mason Prince. I currently reside in Tulsa, Oklahoma, work for Major League Fishing. I know we won't talk about it a lot. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma, and these are my guys. Ryan Tyson.
Yeah, hey everybody. Name is Ryan Tyson. I am from Edmond, Oklahoma. So we're going to be talking about Oklahoma a lot on this podcast. So shout out to that state. Currently live in Dallas, Texas, and I work for a healthcare tech company out of Brooklyn, New York.
Now we have Mark Hall. Mark.
Hey everybody, my name is Mark Hall. I was born in Atlanta, go Falcons, grew up in Houston, go Rockets, and went to OU, Boomer Sooner. I also live in Dallas, more specifically in Mesquite, Texas, and really happy to be on here talking with the guys.
Let's go to Matt Gann now. Matt Gann wearing his Titleist hat, looking fly as hell. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, born and raised in Norman, so super excited to have a podcast with my guys, talking a lot about OU football and sports and everything that Norman has to bring. So currently reside in Dallas, Texas, working for Fidelity Investments. So I'm happy to be on here and looking forward to discussing everything on the agenda.
The man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Hertzberger.
Thanks, Mason. Patrick Hertzberger here. Grew up in Houston, Texas, although I am a dual citizenship of both Germany and the U.S. So I will be the podcast's real football soccer expert, as well as the actual football expert due to the fact I won both of our fantasy leagues this year.
Also,
he really did, which is unfortunate.
This is so
tough.
Unfortunate that we have to deal with this for an entire year.
Never going to let it
Broken
go.
clock gets right twice a day. Patrick won 2 leagues.
It took 6 years, but it happened.
Unfortunately, Patrick just like blind squirrel finds a nut twice in the same season.
It's just
Kinda
absolutely
wild.
ridiculous. Had like no COVID issues, just stupid.
No one finds a pair of nuts like Patrick does.
I mean, that's true.
That's a fact. I've always said it. Let's go ahead and get into it then, guys. Let's start with Caleb Williams. As we know, I know he's entered the transfer portal, and from all indications, he's not going to stay at OU. I was listening to the Oklahoma breakdown earlier, and Gabe Eichert pretty much said he highly doubts that there's any chance that Caleb stays. So we saw that he was in LA over the weekend. Saw that he went to, was it a Lakers game and then a Rams game? Is that what it was?
Rams and Lakers.
Rams and Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to go to USC, right?
Oh, 100%. Like,
is there like any other option that you see that is logical? Because to me, the only logical option at this point is USC.
I mean, from my perspective, no. I think USC is the target there, and I think he'll take Mario with him, Mario Williams. I just think, we've talked about this a lot, but the two things that I think would take Caleb a different place than coming back to OU would be money and Lincoln Riley. So he came to OU because of Lincoln Riley, and with NIL the way it is now, he's looking for an opportunity to make more money. And I know that, kind of hearing things around on Twitter and everything else, his dad is pretty heavily invested in where he goes and what kind of deals he can sign. So I think all of that, if he can get both of those things that he is after, he can only do that in one place, and that is USC, unfortunately for us. And
I think you're right. And I know we're in like a different time now with NIL, everything's different, but does anyone think that OU did anything like wrong in this situation?
I think
Let Lincoln Riley go.
I think if anything, it was maybe not having a pulse on Lincoln Riley and how he was feeling. if the statements from Lincoln Riley is true.
Yeah, but who do you blame for that then? Who do you blame for that? For not having a pulse on Lincoln Riley? I agree with you, but who do you blame?
I think the only one to blame is probably Joe in that instance.
I think you're right.
But we all love Joe. I'm not hating on Joe here, but if Lincoln was truly unhappy, then I think that's the only person we could blame.
So Lincoln runs away from the SEC and Joe did something wrong? I disagree. I think the only one to blame is Lincoln. He didn't want it, so he ran away from it. That's all that it is. It's a tougher game in the SEC, and we had a strength and conditioning coach that was making guys weaker every year. We weren't going to hang in the SEC, and now we have a staff that will help us to.
Yeah. So you see that Caleb is obviously probably gone. Latrell McCutcheon entered the portal today as well, or at least announced he did. Caleb Williams said he was entering and didn't enter it officially until like 2 or 3 days later, whatever it was. But Latrell McCutcheon said he's going in the portal as well. Is it weird to feel like, and Matt, I'll go to you on this. Does it feel weird that like OU, for whatever reason, feels in a better place now than we were a day after Bedlam?
For sure. 100%. I mean, after Bedlam, after what's happened with Lincoln Riley departuring, all of a sudden taking all the coaches with them, a lot of staff with them, and that week felt like an eternity, right? We just had no idea. The program felt like it had been punched right in the gut, and the hires that Joe C was able to make with both Brent and the coaching staff coming over, feel like we're in a lot better place, especially when it comes to recruiting on the defensive side, which OU has not had a defense in a long time. So I think we're in a lot better place now, for sure.
Anyone else have anything to add about the Caleb situation in general? Just something that we haven't harped on before.
I always felt like go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, just that he hasn't announced anything yet. I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous that we've just been sitting here. I don't know. It just seems dumb. Everyone knows where he's going. So, just do it.
Yeah.
But if Auburn came in tomorrow with like a $4 million deal, Carl is not turning that down because Lincoln Riley, has made some quarterbacks. I think that's the only wild card there.
And
USC, especially after this weekend, USC's locked in. But, commas make things change.
I guess.
Right.
I just how would Auburn have more money than Los Angeles people? It just seems like USC. They're private. They have a insane alumni network.
It's just all about that old South money.
That's the South
money,
football money,
and they'll spend it on football. And they'll spend it on football. Cam Newton went there.
He's right. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right.
They won't spend it on taxes, though. They don't like that.
Let's move on to a quarterback we know is going to be in Norman for the 2022 season, and that is UCF transfer, UCLA transfer, UCF transfer, whatever you want to call him, Dillon Gabriel. And he had a pretty good career while he was at UCF. 8,037 yards, 70 touchdowns, 14 picks, 156.9. That's an average passer rating, which is insane to me. That's so high. And he played 26 career games. So 70 touchdowns in 26 career games. That's pretty impressive for him. That's around 3 a game. Do the quick math. How does everybody feel about Dillon Gabriel coming in?
I think it's ready for dime time, baby. I mean, the stats that you listed off there, especially having that prior relationship with Lebby coming in, I think will only make a great connection to start off running that offense, having that prior relationship. So I think it's dime time, baby.
It's definitely a floor raiser. Obviously, we're a better team with Caleb Williams under center. If Jackson Dart comes and proves to be better, then he'll be the starter by the end of the year. But Dillon Gabriel comes in and knows what we're going to do. I'd expect the offense to hit the ground running in a way that it hasn't in 2 years, with Lebby bringing his system over and Dillon Gabriel also bringing his system over.
I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this, and anyone can answer this who thinks, are we is there that much of a discrepancy between a Caleb Williams led offense in this system and a Dillon Gabriel led offense in this system? Or is there that much discrepancy? I don't know. I'm asking.
I think your ceiling is just higher with Caleb than anyone except maybe Bryce Young.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell. We haven't seen Caleb in that system, and we most likely never will. But if you're just looking at it from a talent perspective, I mean, Caleb Williams has the talent. He could probably be put into any system and be amazing. So I don't know. I think Mark is right. I think there's a higher ceiling with Caleb, but also at the same time, I think, yeah, look at you over there.
Mark and Ryan bromance.
always and forever, man. Always. Yeah. No, I think it's great. And, the thing that I love about this Dillon Gabriel situation the most is the timing of everything. So, I mean, if the listeners are unaware of the timing situation, we had a announcement from Caleb Williams that he was entering the transfer portal. And then about 2 hours later, or 2 or 3 hours, it was a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Hold on. You released a statement sucking up to Carl Williams. Yeah. That has to be mentioned here. And then I'll back out. I'm sorry.
It was rough.
Yeah, that was a terrible statement. We don't want to talk about that statement. Or maybe we do. I don't know. But, like 3 hours, 2 hours later, Dillon Gabriel announces he's decommitting from UCLA and coming to OU. And I mean, to me, that could have been a message. I think that was a message to Caleb saying basically that we want you here, but we don't need you here. And that we're the University of Oklahoma and we're going to be fine without you, but we would love to have you. And I mean, or it could have been the fact that they already knew he was gone. And, Levy got out in front of that and said, this is a great quarterback. He knows my system. He's willing to follow me anywhere. I mean, basically the reports all in this season were that he was going to transfer to Ole Miss as long as Levy was there. And you have somebody coming in with a brand new offense that, I mean, our fan base doesn't know. We've seen Ole Miss before, and it resembles the Baylor offense back in 2014, 2015. But I think for us, having somebody in a leadership position like a quarterback who knows this system is going to be extremely valuable, no matter what his talent level is. And his talent level is great. I mean, you read off those statistics. That's insane. So I'm super optimistic about Dillon Gabriel. I think he's going to be great. I think my only question here is, Mark, you mentioned Jackson Dart. Do we actually think we have a possibility of landing Jackson Dart?
I have no idea. Mark said that name. That was kind of news to me, so I didn't know.
Apparently, Sooner Scoop said he's taking a visit this weekend.
Okay.
I don't have a Sooner Scoop account. I got that third hand, but hey guys, throw me a membership.
Yeah, no free ads.
Yeah, I saw that he's taking a visit this weekend, and if that's the case, why not? More talent's better than less talent.
I heard that. Or was Brock Purdy's little brother just offered?
Chuba
yeah,
Purdy. He's coming. He's coming for a visit.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So there could be multiple people coming in for a visit this weekend.
And I mean, you have to. I mean, you have to have multiple scholarship quarterbacks on the roster. You just lost 2, and next year you add one in Gabriel. You're going to need another, whether that be Dart or somebody else through the transfer portal.
Micah Bowens ain't it?
No, he's not. There's no way.
And I think another piece of this is OU classes start Monday, right? 18th?
Yeah.
Or Tuesday, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
I mean, they have to get in before then. So, I mean, this is really the only weekend that they can come in and visit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they need to enroll in order to play.
Yeah, but didn't USC start classes this Monday?
Yeah, they did. That's what's confusing.
Right. Maybe they have like a late enrollment period. I don't know.
California is okay with admission scandals, right? So it's going to be.
They do. USC,
I can't imagine USC is doing in-person classes.
Yeah,
USC's not doing in-person classes right now. I'm sure he's enrolled at USC, but just not attending anything. And until someone gives us a search of him in their directory, we won't know. But I don't imagine the Monday enrollment is what held Caleb back if he was at LA yesterday
Well,
or in LA yesterday.
We'll move on after this. Pat, I have a question for you since you're the most anti-Caleb guy in this group right now. How much has your opinion changed of him in the past, I guess, let's say since the Alamo Bowl? How much has your opinion of him changed given everything that's gone on with Lincoln, with entering the portal, winning the Alamo Bowl, staying with his team, but then deciding to leave? Is he okay in your eyes, or are you treating him as Lincoln Riley?
I mean, he's fine. At the end of the day, he's 19, 20 years old, right? However, my thought of Caleb, and it's always been this thought, you guys know that I was a huge fan of him from the beginning. We'll talk about that more later. However, I always saw him as a huge competitor. And if you're going to take NIL money and go to a school where you will not, most likely you will not be able to compete at the highest level, in my eyes, you're making a decision that a competitor does not make. A competitor goes to the best school to compete with the best players, and he's not doing that. So from that standpoint, he's lost some juju in my eyes.
Okay, that's fair. We'll move on now. In case you missed it on Monday nights, Georgia won a national championship. Kirby Smart and his Bulldogs, first national title since 1980. Good for Kirby Smart, being an alumni, coming back to his school from spending all that time with Nick Saban at Alabama to coming back to Georgia, having a shot at a national title, losing to Alabama in the way that he did in 2016, and then coming back, winning that game on Monday night, 33-18. Pat, do you have our predictions that we texted? Because I didn't write those down. I figured somebody else would.
I actually lost those.
And Pat, you better say what your actual prediction was, the second one on the record.
Okay. I'm going to pull it up, guys.
On the record, last week we had a discussion and I said Georgia was going to win by 6. That's on the record. And then I had a very bad take yesterday, which is unlike me.
And is also on the record. I would like
it's
to.
It's also on the record.
Yeah.
People to know that.
Where I believe I said Georgia was going to win 48-22.
Yeah.
48-42.
Yeah.
And the reason I said
points.
that was because
90 points.
Right.
It was looking real tough for you at halftime when it was 6-9.
After 5 field goals in a row or whatever it was, I was a bit disappointed in my take. But
that was a tough look.
Yeah. Patrick, I would just, I want to give you credit though, because there was, out of everyone who made the predictions, there's 2 people who picked the right team, and you were one of them. And I was also the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
Yeah.
What a terrible segue. I hated that.
I know. I hated it too. I picked
I got to give Pat his due. We did it. We did it, baby.
Mark, do you have it? Do you have it up? I think I had Bama 31-27.
Yeah, that's what you had. You had 31-27.
Yeah.
I had Bama 27-20. I think we were kind of envisioning similar games there. And, man, Georgia in the second half just kind of – they did it.
Okay,
I'm going
to say something. Did Bryce Young just not look that good to you guys? He didn't look like a Heisman winner.
It's tough to look good when Bill O'Brien's your coach.
It's also tough to look good when you're missing your 2 best wide receivers. I mean,
I think it's a combination of those 2.
I think that's right.
Like that's pretty gnarly to put on. I know he's a Heisman winner and everything, but I mean,
I think the way I phrased that, I think you're right. I'm not putting the loss on him. I think Georgia was the better team, and I think that showed throughout the game. I just think watching Bryce Young, you expect a dude who wins the Heisman elevate everyone around him, and when his 2 best receivers are out, he didn't elevate anyone around him. And granted, that may be on the other guys. Like there were drop passes for sure, and guys didn't perform the way that they needed to. But yeah,
offensive line did not show up for Alabama, especially in that second half. They just got beat off the ball.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, guys,
Georgia's defense was relentless.
Yeah, we also got to remember. I mean, Bryce Young is 20 years old, so
sure, but he's playing a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Except for Stetson Bennett, who's 37.
He's what odds on? Hey, that was an amazing performance by Bennett.
It sure was, man. He's got to show up to work at Julio's car dealership on
As soon as I figured out he still has a flip phone, I was all in on it.
You're all in.
That's a
he
focused
recently
guy.
got a flip phone.
Okay.
He had an iPhone.
Did you guys see the
Switched to
interview
a
this
flip
morning?
phone.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, the
Yes.
man looked rough.
Why would you schedule something at 8 a.m.
I don't
after
know.
a national
Coming
championship?
from like the TV world, I used to be a sports reporter on television for anyone
Yeah, you
who
did.
gives a crap.
Damn right he did. In Georgia.
But yeah, in Georgia, I covered the Georgia team actually when they went to the national title. But they don't schedule those like the communications department for Georgia schedules that, and they schedule it so far in advance, like the day before. Even if they win or lose, they have it booked. So like
That
Bryce
sucks,
Young
dude.
would have been the guy if Alabama won. So they
That
had it
sucks.
booked. And so I remember I thought I saw something like Stetson Bennett posted something at like 2 a.m. and he was like, I have an interview in 6 hours. And it was like drinks being
Incredible.
ordered. And it
I
was
saw that.
wild.
I saw that too, but doesn't he have a flip phone? How did he post something?
So
Dude,
he
who
does that.
knows?
All right. So
Explain
I
the
heard
flip
this
phone.
story.
Mark.
I heard this story. It was this past summer. He had an iPhone and he was like, hey, I'm on my phone too much. I'm going to get a flip phone so
Okay.
that I'm more present. I'm more engaged in the moment. Got him a ring. Got him a
Oh,
natty, man.
Okay, yeah.
Turns out
Yeah.
all Stetson, the only difference between Stetson Bennett and national championship winning quarterbacks like Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa is a flip phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mason, I
And
need
his
you to
walk-on
get
status, but
on
yes.
the program guy's Gmail. I need you to send Dillon Gabriel an email and says, "Hey, bro, I need you to get a flip phone."
Oh yeah.
And say, "I recommend the
everything.
Motorola Razr."
From
You know?
Verizon.
I think we could go in on a burner for Dillon Gabriel for like
Yeah.
a semester,
If
right?
he's
I think
interested.
we could do that.
DG hit us up.
100%. Yeah, we could absolutely do that. Did
Yeah,
anyone?
also Dillon Gabriel hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have you on the pod. Let's
Yeah,
discuss.
you can come on the pod.
Yeah, let's discuss. You can be our first guest. How amazing would that be for you, Dylan, to be part of something like this? Something that's going to elevate your career to a new level. You should really think about it. You find us on social media. So did anyone last night just like, and I'm trying to put this in the right way, did anybody like feel it move a little bit when you were watching Alabama and Georgia play defense? Like,
Oh yeah, I felt
Like,
something.
it was pretty hot.
I felt something.
Like, that's what Brent Venables is supposed to bring to OU. And if that's what the future looks like, sign me the hell up right now. I will take
Absolutely.
I will
So
take
ready.
what those teams look like over what the Baker Mayfield teams look like and the Kyler Murray teams look like. I will take those teams that played on Monday night over those teams any day. And obviously, I'm right because those teams beat OU and knocked them out of the title because they played good defense. And that's what we want. Or am I wrong?
No, I mean
I
that's
think
how
the
we.
most interest.
That's
You
how
got
we won like our last championship. It was smothering defense. I mean, 13-2 in 2000. So we got to get back to that. This past 5 to 10 years, while successful, we haven't gotten over whatever this hump is, that we're trying to get over. That teams like Georgia and Alabama and Clemson have done in the past. So yeah, I mean, we have to get back to it.
Mark had some skin in the game last night. Mark, do you want to talk
gosh.
about it? Do you want to talk about your debacle on the betting side of things?
Yeah, so like y'all will learn. I like to make investments, and
Investments is
they're
a
not
good way to put
always.
it.
Yeah, I move the capital around here and there, and one of my go-to moves is teasing Bama. So a tease is where you take two spreads and you can move them both 6 to 7 points, but both have to cover. And if you don't know what covering is, take a moment, Google it, and then come back to the pod.
There you go.
All I needed was Bama to cover plus 10, and they were rocking it. We were down to the last, minute something, and I'm watching on my laptop, and I'm thinking, okay, all I need as Bryce Young is staring down a prevent defense is for him not to do something really stupid like throw a pick six. You know, I'm actively having this thought, and he throws the ball, and great catch out of that Georgia player. Really great catch out of that Georgia
Pickens?
player.
I can't remember. That
No,
Pickens,
that was
it?
no. Well, no, because I'm talking about the pick six.
Oh, you're right.
Pickens
Okay,
was a
my
rock
bad.
star
My
on
bad.
offense.
Yeah. You're right.
But the Ringo or something like that on
You're
defense.
right. It's Ringo.
He gets the ball.
He's from
sprints
Arizona.
Field. Kirby's telling him to get down, man.
He was.
Kirby's telling him to get down.
He didn't want to, man. Do you know how much pent-up energy this Georgia team has against Alabama?
Dude.
And there's 11 5-stars on the field for Alabama. And there's not a damn one of them fast enough to catch this dude. So as he's running down the sideline, I don't actually see him enter the end zone because my laptop dies.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
And isn't that fitting?
Oh,
I pulled the game
man.
back up on the TV and watched Bama not do anything, and I deserved that, I guess. But
Dude.
it's tough.
Rough. I'm
Did
sorry.
you think at all to hedge your bet at all since all your money was on Bama last night?
Usually my mistake is hedging too soon. And so I'll let's say a game's not going well, I'll hit the live line and take the other team and just try to get a spread or a number where there's a middle position. But no, I didn't think about it yesterday. Even at halftime yesterday, I was confident that Bama would pull it out.
Jeez.
I mean, historically,
Obviously
you
just
don't
wrong, but
you don't bet against Saban. Usually,
yeah.
ever.
Yeah, you don't. Even if you thought Georgia was going to win,
Like I did.
like you pick him, yeah,
Right.
you would think Bama would cover. Like picking Alabama not to cover against anybody is pretty dumb. And
Mhm.
on Monday night, it just kind of showed that it was one of those things where Georgia was the better team. They just were in every
before
aspect.
last night, I think Saban was like 7-0 in his last 7 as an underdog.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
And like won the games by 3 touchdowns. Georgia just showed up. They were more ready.
Yeah,
Also,
and
good for Kirby, man. I mean, he went like 0-4 against Saban.
yeah.
Like he needed one. He
And not
needed
only,
this.
and you're right, Ryan. Not only did he good for him, but like not only did he go 0-4 against Saban, the 0-4 was like brutal losses that are like hard.
Three
to get
were
over.
3 were comebacks. 3 were Alabama comebacks.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
It's tough. Matt, did you have something to add before we move on?
I was just trying to figure out, isn't Kirby the first assistant that has worked under Saban to actually finally beat Saban in a game?
Jimbo this year.
Yeah,
Jimbo.
second.
Yeah, Jimbo
So-
second.
And so-
Twice in 1 year, though.
But
right.
people, I mean, Jimbo
But-
and then Kirby. People are
I
asking.
think it's his only one from Alabama staff.
That was a joke. Nick Saban doesn't need to retire. That was a joke.
Really though, guys, the biggest win is Kirby Smart's hair.
Yeah,
He has rocked that hair.
He
From
has
day
rocked
one.
Good hair.
he has rocked that bowl cut since he was playing defense in a Georgia uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And never had to change it. Got all
Never.
those recruits looking
Like that.
like me as a 4-year-old and made
Oh,
it
yeah.
work, man.
Dude, that was
Good
me at
for
like
him.
12.
He
No,
makes it
I've
work.
seen you were a handsome 12-year-old, Ryan.
I
Don't
was
you start.
not. I was not. You know.
Whoa, hey, whoa. All right, let's move on. The NFL season, regular season, the first 18-week NFL season is in the books. And
Jesus,
we
that's a lot of
have,
games.
yeah, I know it's a whole lot. And we have officially the NFL playoff slate in front of us. Let's go through the games real quick for this first weekend, wild card weekend. Are they still calling it wild card weekend? I feel like they are.
It's
wild,
Super wild card weekend. Thank you, Matt.
Don't like that.
Let's I don't like
No,
that.
that's bad.
Why don't you like
That's
that? Why?
That's like
Don't
Red
super
River
things.
Showdown
Yeah.
instead of shootout.
Okay. All right, I get it. Let's start with the Raiders at Bengals. Bengals come in as a 5.5 point favorite. Who do you like and why? Real quick, we'll start with Matt.
Yeah, I'm taking Bengals. I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are absolutely on fire. Hey, great props to the Raiders for their win against the Chargers. I'm so happy it did not end in a tie. That would have been the worst thing possible. So Bengals, easy money.
Pat, who you got?
I think the Bengals, but I don't think they're going to cover.
Okay. What about you, Mark?
Bengals and they cover 5.5. I don't know if they cover 7, but they cover 5.5.
Ryan?
Bengals for sure. I think they probably cover. Joe Burrow, most exciting offense, I think, right now in the league. And I don't like that the Raiders didn't end it in a tie. So, yeah.
That's fair.
I was team tie.
I was team not tie. I didn't want the tie. I wanted both teams to play hard because I have a vendetta against Justin Herbert because he's performing well and breaking my heart because Tua sucks and the Dolphins suck, and we can talk about it later. I have the Bengals to cover. I think Joe Burrow is just too good. I think that's just what it is. I think
we got to mention Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's a stud.
Incredible.
And I actually have some friends back in Georgia who were talking crap on Joe Mixon to start the season about how he was a terrible fantasy pickup. And ever since that tweet, all he's done is like lead the league in running back touchdowns and stuff. And I talk so much crap every week. Like I tweeted him, I go, wow, this guy's a bum, just all this stuff. And Joe Mixon has looked so good. So good for Joe Mixon. Gotta love our OU boys day, my brothers day, my friends. Joe Mixon looks good.
It's nice that P. Ryan's in the mix now as well.
That's right, Pat. Let's move on. Pats at Bills, AFC East matchup. Bills won the division, so they are the home team, favored by 4. That seems large to me against the Patriots. I'll start us off. I think the Pats cover. I don't know if they win, but I think they cover. Ryan, who you got?
I got Bills winning, but Pats covering. I think it'll be really close.
Okay, Mark.
Give me the Bills.
You think so?
Give me the Bills to cover. They did it last game against them. Obviously, this is crazy betting against Belichick, but Mac's a rookie, and second half of the year didn't look as good as the first half of the year. And give me the Bills. I guess the last quarter of the year is more accurate than that. It was after the cold game against the Bills where it seems like he's fallen off a little bit.
Matt, who you got?
Yeah, I know they split the regular season, just like Mark mentioned. The cold game, obviously that favors the Pats run game. I'm interested to see what the weather will be like for that game because, again, if it's something cold or they can't throw the ball as well, maybe the Pats have an edge. Maybe they do cover or be able to play a little bit closer. But, I mean, that game against Miami last week didn't look very good. So I got the Bills on this one covering.
Dolphins always at the end of the year play the Patriots so well in Miami, like always. It's so weird. Brian Flores, who just got fired, has beaten Belichick 4 times in a row. 2 of those times have been in Miami in January. So it's just wild. Pat?
Yeah, Bills here, easy win for them.
Easy win. That's nice and simple.
See you, Pat.
Now we move on to the Eagles led by OU quarterback Jalen Hurts.
Our boy.
Don't get it twisted.
Our boy.
Jalen Hurts at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, 8.5-point favorites. That line is huge. I think I have the Bucks, and I think I have the Bucks to cover. I think that line's big, and I think they know something that we don't. By the way, these are Tuesday afternoon lines, so if you're trying to get them now and you're not seeing what we're talking about, these are Tuesday afternoon lines, easily could have moved, and I think Mark saw that they have already kind of moved. So, Mark, who do you have?
Bucks win, Bucks cover. I think the Eagles have beat up on teams with bad defenses and bad quarterbacks over the last half of the season, and they're not going to be able to establish the run as well as they have against a Bucks team that I expect to get up early. I think they're going to be up 10 points, 2 touchdowns maybe, and Jalen's got to throw the ball. I love Jalen to death, but we've all seen how that goes. So give me the Bucks to cover.
Nice. Matt, who you got, baby?
I mean, the Eagles lead the NFL in rushing, like over 200 yards per game. Bucks do have a solid run D. I'm just not sure who Tom Brady's going to throw the ball to. It's Mike Evans banged up. I mean, they lost Chris Godwin. Yep. A lot of his weapons, obviously AB and the whole fiasco with that. I mean, but Tom Brady makes it work. So I don't know how you can root against Tom Brady in this game, especially when Jalen can't really throw a ball.
I saw a stat which was wild that Tom Brady has thrown more touchdowns than years he's been alive, and he's done that again. He's like 45, and he threw 46 touchdowns this year, which is like just wild. That's insane. Pat, who you got?
Bucks, but they don't cover.
Ryan?
Bucks covering.
Nice. I like it. We're good. We're moving quick now on 49ers at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point favorites at home in Jerry World. Give me the Cowboys to cover that game as well. I just don't think the 49ers have the horses to hang with Dallas and score with Dallas. That's just where I'm at. Who you got, Ryan?
I got 49ers to win and cover. So I was extremely impressed with them last week against the Rams. So I think they're coming in with momentum, and I think that Dallas always screws these games up. So
okay, what about you, Pat?
See, I feel similar to Ryan here. I don't think the Cowboys are ready to win a playoff game, but the 49ers to me just don't have it. So I will say that the Cowboys cover this weekend.
Magan.
I mean, the Cowboys have been inconsistent all year. Sometimes they've looked like Super Bowl contenders, and other years other games they just look like they are completely out of it. So I'm not sure what team will show up, but I'll tell you what, the 49ers front seven, their linebackers and D-line, I mean, Dallas isn't going to be able to run the ball. So it's going to be on Dak. He's probably going to have to throw 45, 50-plus times this game if they're going to have a chance to win. But I feel like the Niners have it to pull it out. They got a good run. Deebo Samuel is the most electric guy on that team. He's going to make it work. I have the 49ers on the only upset against the home team this week. That's what I got.
Mark?
Yeah, I got the Niners at least +3. I kind of lean towards them winning. The thing that worries me is less the Cowboys offense and more, Micah Parsons causing havoc up front. It's that front, Randy Gregory, some of those guys getting in Jimmy G's face and stopping some of the trickeration that Shanahan has drawn up with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk throughout the year. I think that the Niners defense is going to come hard after a Dallas offense that hasn't looked the same since Dak came back from injury. And they're missing Michael Gallup. Tony Pollard has looked better than Zeke half the games this year. Give me the Niners.
All right, let's move on. Steelers at the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll start with Ryan.
What's the line here? 13?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I got Chiefs -13.
Give me the Chiefs.
Got them covering?
Oh, yeah.
Cover?
I mean, that's a huge number, but I have no faith in the Steelers whatsoever.
I have a couple really good friends who are diehard Steelers fans.
Well, sorry to your friends.
No, they're like Pittsburgh born and bred, and they have told me on multiple occasions this is the worst playoff team that's ever made the playoffs.
They haven't looked good all year.
They haven't. Matt, who you got?
Listen, Big Ben's last game is going to be an Arrowhead on where they play Sunday, Saturday. I don't know which day they play, but it will be his last game. I think I know he went to bed early. I saw a report that he didn't even know what happened in that the Raiders-Chargers game. He almost woke up to not being able to play at all. So this is definitely his last game. Mahomes, Arrowhead, easy money. They're definitely covering.
Mark.
Yeah, I guess the Chiefs. I think that their defense is going to show up against Ben, and Najee Harris can't do it all. And Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Patrick?
Yeah, I don't know how Clyde and Tyreek are currently doing. I know they've been a bit banged up, so if the Chiefs don't cover, that's why. However, I do think that they're going to cover, especially if those two are healthy.
All right, give me the Steelers +13, Chiefs to win. I think the Steelers cover. I think that number is massive. I think in the playoffs, it's just different. I like the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are great, but they just haven't been the same Chiefs this year. And I think this is a game where they come out slow and mess around for 3 quarters and then have to figure it out in the fourth and win by 10. That's just the feeling I get from that game.
They were down to the Texans.
You're right.
They were down to the Texans 2 years ago in Arrowhead.
Right.
We've seen similar.
Last game, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals at the LA Rams, one of Pat's 5 teams.
Yes, currently number 2. Currently my second favorite team.
Yeah. Second favorite team. Who's your first?
The Houston Texans.
All right.
We don't talk about that right now.
We don't talk about
No,
them.
and then just for the record, who's 3?
Chicago Bears.
And then who's 4? Do you have a 4? The
Ravens.
Ravens?
The Ravens.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Cardinals at Rams. You got Rams -4 as a favorite. I don't like the Rams at all. I think they are frauds. I don't think they're any good. I think their defense is good. I don't believe in Matt Stafford. I don't believe in that offense. I think Cooper Kupp's great, but I don't think they got it, and I think Kyler Murray's got it. I think they win outright. Give me the Cardinals.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. I just don't know if the
That
Cardinals
makes me feel
have it in them. Why? I won both fantasy football leagues this year.
Pat knows football, man.
I do know football. I beat all beat. Hopkins and Watt are still hurt. I think that's really limited the Cardinals. However, yeah, I agree. I think the Rams are kind of our fraud, and I'll go with the Cardinals. I'll go with Kyler here, but they don't cover.
Matt?
Yeah, this is probably going to be the best game of the week. I mean, this is a Monday night game.
Wait. Did you say the Cardinals win but don't cover?
He was wrong. Just move on.
All right. Let it go. I'll let it go.
Right.
I'll let it go.
No, they don't win by 4. They don't win by 4. Sorry.
That's not
The Rams win.
That's not the line, Pat.
It's all right.
Maybe I'm reading this incorrectly.
So Rams are a 4-point favorite. Rams are a 4-point favorite. So you say the Cardinals are going to win.
Apologies. Yeah, I read that wrong. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right.
This is the guy that won both of our fantasy football leagues, people.
Right,
So
and
keep
this-
that in mind.
Big football.
Guys, I'm not good at fantasy. I'm figuring it out.
Big football guy.
All right, Matt, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, before we had to get that cleared up. Sorry, Pat.
That's okay. I made a mistake, but I still know football better than all of you.
You had Cooper Kupp. That's all you had. Anyways, besides the point. But best game of the week, Monday night. Cardinals been up and down this year, but Matthew Stafford's thrown the most pick sixes this year. Pretty surprising, especially since they gave up all that draft capital. I mean, they are all in this year. So I don't believe in the Rams. I think Cardinals come in. I think it's going to be a pretty close game, but I got Cardinals by a field goal.
Ryan?
Cardinals. Our boy, Kyler Murray, K1, always.
Mark?
Rams win. Rams cover.
Mark picking against Kyler Murray. I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah,
It's a travesty.
Rodney Hudson plays center for the Cards and didn't play last game, and Aaron Donald plays defensive tackle for the Rams. And period. Like, I'm good. I'm not that worried about anything else in this game. I think Stafford's definitely not it the way that they thought he was, but McVay can make an offense work enough, and Aaron Donald's just going to eat that offense for breakfast. Jalen Ramsey too.
All right, real quick, everybody go through your teams, who you root for in the NFL. You only get one, Patrick, and we already went through yours, so it doesn't count. Everybody go through your one team who you root for so we know on the record. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, unfortunately. I'm very upset they just fired Brian Flores. I don't know who they're going to hire. Don't ask me. I have no idea. They interviewed Dan Quinn today, and that terrifies me.
I want that.
I don't want that. So I'm a Dolphins fan. Tua believer. Unfortunately, he's making me look bad. Ryan?
Minnesota Vikings, also, unfortunately. I am glad we got rid of our coach, Mike Zimmer. He was there for 8 years, and there was
Matt,
a
stop
couple good
doing
years
that
in there.
stupid dance.
A couple good years in there. You'll see why he's doing the dance when he explains who his team is, because he is an asshole. Anyway, I don't like to talk about Kirk Cousins, so I don't like to talk about him.
He had a great year. No one about him. He had a great year.
He can take his, $84 million 3-year contract and just hit the road, because I want nothing to do with him.
Okay.
All right. Mark?
Hey, gang. Me again. I am a Falcons fan, like I mentioned
This
earlier.
isn't getting better for the group here.
No.
We're just really
it's
down
Yeah,
bad
it's
this
not
year.
good. It's a down bad kind of group. And not a great year, but Kyle Pitts was really good, and I can take some solace in that. And the next good Falcons team is going to have a new quarterback anyway. So it's just about seeing Matt off the right kind of way, with more sacks than anyone the last however many years you want to go to.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing it.
That's
Hey,
tough.
he's still kicking it, man.
All right,
Still kicking it.
I
The
think
whole
that's
line is first-round draft picks, right? They still can't protect them.
The whole offense was last year.
yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
like
Can
Kirby
we?
was
Are we allowed to skip
terrible.
Gan? Can we just skip Gan?
no, yeah, I was
And
about
moving
to.
on.
I was about
Yeah,
to skip
just
Gan.
moving on. Move
I'm gonna
on.
skip Gan.
Listen,
Gan, you get 10 seconds.
listen, guys. I'll bring up the group a little bit. Green Bay Packers all the way. Aaron Rodgers about to
Bullshit.
win his fourth MVP. Does he necessarily deserve it? I mean, he is playing out of his mind, but also Tom Brady has way more passing yards and way more touchdowns. Not really sure. It sounds like they're just about to hand it to A-Rod. We still have 3 Pro Bowlers that just came off IR. Jair Alexander, top 5 corner. Got one of the best linebackers, Darius Smith, with the Preston Smith duo. He's coming back. Also got our Pro Bowl, Bakhtiari, back at left tackle. The offensive line's been banged up, but having him back is huge. Played a little bit in the Detroit game, about 30 snaps. We got a lot of guys coming back. We're hitting it ground running. The NFC runs through Lambeau. They're going to the Super Bowl this year, boys.
Mason, that was longer than 10 seconds.
Yeah, I
Can
really-
we just like edit him out?
Yeah,
please?
we're gonna
Just
edit
I
edit
love
him
the
out.
statistics, though.
We're gonna edit
30
that out.
I thought he
snaps.
broke it down pretty well.
No,
How did you
care.
prep?
Happy
Did
about
you
it.
prep for this?
I'm definitely not happy about it. All right, let's move on. We're on to Ryan's. This is a segment we like to call Ryan's must watch of the week. Ryan's a movie buff, TV buff, watches a lot of stuff. Ryan, tell us what this is about.
He prefers it to be called cinema.
Yeah, it's cinema.
Cinephile, is that what it is?
I'm a cinephile. You can, look me up on Letterboxd, people. There's
Oh
some
my-
hot take reviews going on. It's Ryan _Tyson.
That's
you know?
so bad.
No, it's great.
I love everybody.
The movie heads will understand what I'm saying. They'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. So like Mason said, we are going to be doing a weekly segment called Must Watch of the Week. And this is where I will be discussing a interesting TV show or an interesting movie that I've seen over the past couple weeks and explain why you, the audience, as well as my other co-host, should be watching said TV show or said movie. So in our first iteration of this, I'm going to be talking about a television show called Station 11. And Station 11 is a 10-episode limited series that you can find on streaming. You can find it on HBO Max. And I wanted to talk about this one because from a timing perspective, the finale of it actually comes out in 2 days on Thursday. If you're listening to this on the 12th on Wednesday, it'll be tomorrow, the 13th. So episodes
Shout
1
out to
through
our
9
day ones.
Yeah.
That's right. Shout out.
Episodes 1 through 9 are now on HBO Max, so you can go see those at any time. So this is a television show based on a book, and the book was written by Emily St. John Mandel. I believe is written in 2014.
Strong name.
Really strong name, and the book has gotten really great reviews. It was on multiple like best lists at the end of the year. So the plot of this is actually a pandemic occurs. And we'll come back to that on why it's important to watch this show at this time. But a pandemic occurs actually called the Georgia flu. Shout out to, the dogs from last night.
Shout out.
And woof woof. And this flu wipes out 99% of the world's population. So the show is told from multiple different perspectives and multiple different timelines. So you have the perspective of, a young girl, you have the perspective of a middle-aged man, an older woman, just multiple different perspectives, as well as.
Are they part of the same family, or is it completely different? Are they?
It's not part of the same family.
Okay.
Some of them could be related here or there. It just depends. But I mean, if you're talking 99% of the world's population,
Sure.
Most of the time this disease splits up families.
Yeah.
So, it also looks at different timelines. So like the very first episode opens with just like the day of the outbreak. So you get to watch it as it's happening and as people are finding out about this. And then there's episodes that take place in the months following, as well as there's a large section of the show that happens 20 years in the future, and really looking at what humanity looks like 20 years after 99% of the world's population is wiped out. So the cast is incredible. So Mackenzie Davis is someone you might have heard of or might have seen. She's been in *Halt and Catch Fire*. She was in a Black Mirror episode titled San Junipero. She's really incredible. She plays the lead, the older version of the lead. And then a newcomer named Matilda Lawler plays the young version of the character. Character's name is Kirsten. And also just an incredible performance done by a child actress. So I would highly recommend watching it for some of the performances. Also want to give a shout out to Hamish Patel, who's a British actor who does really, really incredible work in the role of Jeevan. So really great performances, really great direction, really great storytelling and editing, pretty much everything that you could want in a television show. There's a lot of Shakespeare in the show. So, if anyone out there is super into literary references, give it a watch and let me know what you think. And kind of like the elephant in the room here is the main barrier to entry is I'm telling you guys to watch a show about a pandemic while a pandemic is going on outside. And so, a lot of us don't want to watch, or I'm speaking for myself at least, don't want to watch things about a pandemic when it's currently happening and I can walk outside my door and see it happening. And I have to read about it in the news. But I will say that some of the themes of this show hit on, hopefulness, human mortality, friendship, survival. And there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope in this show. And I think, with everything that we're dealing with in 2022 and, the new spikes in Omicron and everything going on with COVID, I just think it's really good to have a little bit of hope. So would highly, highly recommend Station 11 on HBO Max. The finale is coming up this Thursday, January 13th. So go give it a watch. I know Mason has given it a watch in the past couple days.
I binged the hell out of that show. I knocked it out.
Like you got to keep watching.
I knocked it out in 48 hours.
It was so impressive.
I think there's 9 episodes right now. I did like 4 one day and 5 the next. Like it's riveting television, but everything that Ryan said, it hits it on the head. Hamish Patel, I love that guy. He's
incredible.
Amazing. He's so good. Both the young and older version of Kirsten, Mackenzie Davis and Matilda Lawler, both are fantastic. Everything that Ryan said hit the nail on the head. I highly recommend watching it, especially if you like dystopian kind of stuff, like I do. It's really good. I guarantee you will not regret watching it.
And I think, the shows that it most reminds me of are 2 of my favorites, and that's Lost and The Leftovers. Both of those are done by Damien Lindelof. So it's got really strong energy when it comes to that. So if you were interested in those shows at all or watch those shows and kind of thought, hey, this is kind of cool, give Station 11 a watch. It's my favorite TV show of 2021. And I watch a lot of TV. So
that's right. All right, we're moving on. Next segment. This is called Pat's Hot Take of the Week. Patrick Hertzberger fires off, shall we say, a lot of I feel like hot take isn't even a good word for it. It's like molten lava sometimes, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. So I'm just going to let him take it away. And Pat, you got about like 8 minutes to get us through this. Okay.
All right, I'll need about 12, but here we go, folks.
No.
I'm going to put on the hot take bucket hat here.
Okay, for those watching on YouTube, this is now the 3rd wardrobe change that Patrick has made in this show.
That's an incredible hat, though, Pat.
Thank you. Yes. Anyway, it is time for my hot take of the week, and it would not do it justice unless we kind of give some background of why my hot takes have become a thing. And the best hot take I ever had was in December of 2020, where I texted the boys, and Mason, if you feel like pulling the screenshot up in your edit, feel free. I texted the boys, while Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler are at the University of Oklahoma, Caleb Williams will beat out Spencer Rattler. And I was 100% correct on that take. It was molten lava hot, but I was right. And
unfortunately, he was right. That's the worst part of this.
And he won't let you forget it.
No.
What did I say about broken clocks earlier?
Exactly. Once again, Pat, we're on the record now, so like we're gonna have all of these takes on record.
Right.
So we're gonna put up your like correct percentage and show it to you every week
That's great.
to let you know
We need a graphic.
how correct or incorrect you've been
Trevor, help us out, please.
over time. Go ahead. Sorry, Pat.
All right. No. So I'm not going to start off with the hot take of the week. First, I'm going to give a bit of a history lesson. So picture this. It's 1982.
Oh my God.
The World Cup is going on in Spain, and Germany is playing Austria. Before the game took place, Germany knew, and Austria knew that if Germany wins by 1 or 2 goals, both teams advance into the next round. So what took place is that in the first 10 minutes of the game, Germany attacked like crazy, and they scored a goal. And after that, the teams just passed the ball back and forth. They no longer played the game. And they both advanced into the next round. So that being said, my hot take is that the NFL, after this past weekend, seeing that match fixing could have taken place with the Raiders and Chargers, will start scheduling better and not allow one game to take place if a game afterwards could be fixed. And that's the hot take of the week. I think that there will be a schedule change and those teams will have to play at the same time moving forward.
So
How about just no ties in week 18?
No ties ever. This is so dumb.
Well,
Ever.
and that's part of the reason why that Week 18 game was so important was because the Steelers had a tie earlier in the season. So that's why they could have tied and both gotten in.
It's so dumb.
That's why that scenario was like that.
Why do we have ties?
Ties are
no
fine.
idea.
Coming from a soccer
like-
guy, ties are actually great.
Why are we hating on ties?
Yeah, no.
Imagine those lines.
Yeah,
Mark.
but you get a point in soccer for tying. You get absolutely nothing in football.
They're also boring.
No, you do get
Well, technically in the
Better,
NFL, a tie counts as like half of a win. So
Right.
like in percent, like win percentage, like category, you're ranked higher than someone who has one more loss than you. So like an 8-7 team is below an 8-6-1 team. You know what I mean? So like that's the way it works. Is it right? That's for you to decide. But that's the way it works. And that's why that's why I was saying the tie to end the season shouldn't happen and shouldn't be a big deal because the teams are just going to play it out regardless. They're division rivals. They don't want their division rival in the playoffs ever.
The Raiders were
Ever.
playing
well,
for the
yeah.
tie.
Do you think that the rumors are true to that the Raiders were going to
That
play
one
for the
Raider
tie?
guy was telling Austin Eckler in that clip, "Hey, we're going
Yeah.
for the tie."
Well, guys, if the Chargers didn't take a timeout, the
I know,
Raiders
well-
ran three.
That's
Well,
what the
see-
story is.
So, but
Raiders
story.
ran 3 straight running plays. They were going to kill the clock. They weren't even field goal range until after that timeout. So they were definitely running out the clock. In the
Well, and
Chargers.
there was an interview with Derek Carr afterwards where they asked him about that, and he was like, "Anytime you have a chance to send your division rival home and not let them go to the playoffs, that's what you're going to do." So I don't know if his thinking changed because of that timeout. Maybe he was on the same page, whereas like, oh, we're going to play for the tie, and then they called the timeout, and they're like, all right, well, screw it, like let's beat them then. I don't know at what point maybe the thinking changed, but that just in my opinion as like competitors, I don't think that playing for the tie was really ever in anyone's mind. I think they were playing to win, and then when you got to the end and it got to that point and you're like, well, we're already here. Like that, it's like gameplay at that point. It's not like you go into the game. Those teams weren't going into the game thinking they weren't playing for a tie. Justin Herbert wasn't playing for a tie.
Right.
I think,
It was
but
an incredible game.
I think Pat's point is they could have been if they wanted to.
And they
Yeah.
How do you
kind of
fix
should
it?
have. I think they should have.
So what did there's the World Cup, right?
Yes.
What did
And
the
this
World
happens
Cup
in soccer now in kind of all
just
tournaments.
throughout?
They make sure that this doesn't take place.
How do they ensure that? How is it possible?
I mean, the only thing that they really can do is start the game at the same time. Sure, you can send a text and say, hey, you don't need to score another goal, or hey, you need to score 2 more goals and things like that. However, it does mitigate the risk to some extent.
And I
Well,
get
and it
it's
mitigates
just-
the TV exposure,
Yeah,
and
it
the NFL.
does.
Well, that's all of that.
They're not
That's
going to
all
move
an
a game.
American
and
cares
that's
about.
what the NFL is all about is money. They're not. They're
Mhm.
never going to do that just because like a competitive advantage. They don't.
Well, that and player safety.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just that
guess.
thing. Just that small little piece.
That's fair.
They're into that.
All right. Well, Pat, that was a solid hot take, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
that
it.
was a good hot take.
Very reasoned take, I think.
Very,
I think
yeah.
it
was.
I thought
They
you were
should
coming.
change
I
that.
thought you were gonna come out a little spicy.
Yeah,
I don't want to
All
freak
right.
everyone out. It's gonna get spicy, but not yet.
I thought he was
That's
going to.
75-degree take of the week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought he was going to come out saying like the NFL should change its rules. They shouldn't wear helmets or shoulder pads. They can't use their hands, and the ball turns into a round ball.
Right. And there's a net now.
There's a net now.
There's a net.
Hey, we have nets. They
Yeah.
kick the ball into them.
They
That's
do.
right.
University of Oklahoma doesn't, because we throw that ball right over the stadium fence.
That's
hey,
true.
hey.
That's right.
Gabe used to hit it in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
oh,
anymore.
It's
More
fun in
recent.
the NFL game.
All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap on episode 1 of the Program Guys podcast. Be sure to
We did
like and subscribe on all of our channels. You can find us on YouTube, the Program Guys. You can find us on Twitter at the Program Guys, Instagram Program Guys. That's one word, no the in that one. Sometimes the names get taken.
Z in all of
I
those.
was about to
Z.
say,
That's right.
big
Thank you.
Z, right?
Yeah, good calling me. And you can find us on all those channels. Also want to give a quick shout out to Trevor Morse. He's the guy who does all of our graphics. If you're watching on YouTube,
Yeah, Trevor.
all that stuff, you can see he's the guy who made all this stuff possible. And really want to thank Trevor for that. And we look forward to the future. What are we shooting for? Like once a week?
Something like that.
Something
Shooting
like that?
for
Yeah.
it, but let's be flexible. You know,
Yeah.
that stuff happens. You might
learning
have to
or-
hop on a pod.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
learning as
so-
we go.
Emergency pod, we could do that. All right, guys, I appreciate it. It's a good first episode, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.
All right, so I'm recording in 3, 2, 1.
What is up, guys?
Are you fucking serious?
This guy. Are you kidding me?
Get the hell out of
God.
here. It's our
He's
first
always been a
episode.
hype
This was
You know what? I kind of get it.
Okay.
I kind of get it because Josh Program, original program guy.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So there you go.
If we
Right.
called Hypel, he would come.
You're right.
No,
All right.
we wouldn't know.
Are we ready to get this going?
Hold on. I'm gonna change.
Patrick,
It's got to
Oh my
go
God.
like in like a blooper section or something.
this guy's killing me.